Um, just out of the gym. Hi, Logo. Had to finish my workout, but at the same time, I wanted to record this video. So, why not both? I'm still not used to the looks I get. So, I know a spot. It's so fun to do this. Ah! Oof, oof. So, the reason I'm making this video is because it's been one one year since I got this bike, this beautiful bike that I never thought I'd own. I don't have any name as such for my bike. I wanted to keep it stock initially, just didn't want to mess with any internals to keep the warranty and all that. But now that it has been a year, I mean, I really did understand what's wrong with my bike, what I don't like about my bike, which I might do a separate video for it. But now that it's been a year, I will start modifying this bike. And not a one of one. Come on now. It's not a one of one. It won't be a one of one. I would never call this a one of one because, well, what's the point? I will just make it perfect for me, that's all. Yeah. Another good thing is that. Oh, shit. Coming back to the video. Uh, Now that it's been a year, I will start modifying it and I'll do crazy things to it. I already have a list of things that I want to do. And everything's happening in the right time, to say the least, because I got my camera at the right time, started recording and started posting videos already. And I'm glad I can just upload some more videos alongside my modifications. So after a year of ownership of this bike, first of all, owning this bike was such a learning curve because it's pretty much a raw bike. It comes with nothing but ABS. So it was such a learning curve for me, and I come from an Activa. So I jumped straight out from an Activa to a Continental. Don't do this, I don't recommend this. Before the Activa, I used to ride a TVS XL100. The OGs knew. My friends obviously know. If you're ever wondering how did I learn gear shifting and the bike overall the basics of the bike, I would say it's just by watching people do it initially, and then the more I did, the more natural I would become, and then I seeked for some help with my uncle. He's the only one in my family group who has a gear motorcycle and who trusts me with his motorcycle. he is also just as passionate about motorcycles. Definitely not as much as me. Nice. He helped me learn gear shifting and balancing of the bike, all that in a better way. Once I got confident about that, the basics, I have jumped further to learn clutchless shifting, uh, rev matching, and all that on this bike itself. So, which costed me the clutch plates. For sure, I need to get them checked. I am sure I burned them quite a bit. I need to get them checked ASAP, which I will in a few days. So yeah, big learning curve. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of uh, understanding of this bike to be safe, because it's not a good bike to begin with. There's the engine that's good. Not that it's awfully bad or anything, but another more important thing I would like to talk about is that when I spoke about my uncle's Avenger, once he gained enough trust from me, he gave me that bike uh, to have it for a month when I was doing my internship. I had to go some 25 kilometers every day. So he's like, yeah, you can take my bike. Yeah, uh, I know you can handle this. So like, yeah, I took it, but I didn't know uh, how to brake properly, and I ended up crashing it the first day I took it out, which didn't have any ABS, so it has a pure disc brake, and I pushed it like anything, and I braked, and luckily to the bike and to me, nothing happened. We were quite safe, and I made it out safely without just a bruise on my leg, which was a huge thing that happened. I'm glad that happened. I don't wish it for anyone or to myself to happen, for that to happen again. But I'm glad that happened, because that opened my eyes wider to how I can how I can improve myself in terms of bikes, in terms of braking and whatnot. And that's where I learned how to what is it called? Uh, Progressive braking, yeah. And that's what I believe made me keep this bike safe so far, and myself, of course. Or else I would have crashed it probably the first month or so, max. Yeah, and yeah, like uh, this is what Instagram influencers or whatever don't tell you. Like, they just funnily enough, they all follow the same pattern where they show that they crashed the bike, and then they put some emotional background music, and then show the bike's broken condition, and then once there's a beat drop, and then you have the bike uh, in all you mint condition again, which is funny to me, because you just get the views. That's just how you get views. Agreed. But there are only very few people who will talk about their fuck ups, who will talk about where they went wrong, and how you can avoid it. As a viewer, how can you learn from something like that to happen? So when I said I never thought I would own this bike, this beauty, is because I never loved Royal Enfield. I still don't. uh, I used to be a sucker for KTM for the past 10 years. Now, I didn't buy that bike because it was a chapri. It made chapri because it's never chapri. It's just the riders who are chapri. But then it just proves that stereotypes too well. It's hard to believe. But that's not the reason why I didn't buy it. I just, uh, I just don't know what happened. One day I took a test drive of this bike, and that's when I knew that, yep, I'm getting this bike. It's just that simple. I don't have any better explanation to that. I just booked this for a test drive and driven it for 2 kilometers. That's it. That's all it took for me to convince myself that this is the bike I'm getting. It's strange how things can change like this. when you love something so for so long, so much, and now you try something different, and you try something different and you just, oh god, I hear people. Fuck, should I just say fuck it and complete the video? I guess I will. So will I ever recommend this bike to any other people? Look, many of my friends at the gym and friends who I made along the way in the past 1 year have asked me if I should get the bike, and to which I've said no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't get a Continental as your first bike. Never. Because see, it doesn't have a lot of good things other than the engine refinement and the way it delivers the power, right? And yeah, it's very uncomfortable. You have to deal with it very carefully, and you have to babysit it, or else it'll give you problems. And now that the 10,000 kilometers is done, I now need to take care of it even more, because this tends to give problems after this. Any bike in general, big bikes or sport bikes, they will give you problems after 10,000 kilometers or 20,000 kilometers per se. So yeah, I just turned down a lot of people, and I never regretted it that I turned down this person or that turned down that person. I was glad I was right about it, if whether they can handle it or not. And yeah, I was glad I turned them down from by not recommending this bike. It's a lovely bike though, but it has a lot of flaws. Like poor R&D has been done. Parts are quite cheap, reasonable, I would say, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to get. Yeah, the only good thing I can say is the engine. It's perfect. It's a gem. I still don't believe that I own this bike for a year now. I was very reluctant to get this bike, but after the 2023 model, I heard a lot of good things about it. Like before that, it used to have wobbling issues. The tires were so bad. The light throw was bad. It was they're still giving halogens. So which the change. So that changed my mind a little bit. And now the adjustable levers, quite expensive. My friend likes it a lot. So yeah, that's another reason why I got it. I did my research. I did my research a lot. I do my research a lot when I'm buying something that I like. Now the reason I'm saying that I don't like a lot of things about this bike is because no bike is perfect, and you will have to figure it out what you like and what you don't like in your bike, and then you have to, if you want to work on that to make it perfect for yourself, is what my theory is, and I'm gonna do the same. It'll be slow process. I'll just do I'll just start with minor things, and then I'll keep going further and further, starting with the brakes, of course. Starting brakes, air filters, spark plugs, those will be the first few additions to this bike. Beauty. Overall, 10,000 kilometers with this bike, and no major issues as of now. Have dealt with some lows of this bike, very few. Like, I don't know, I don't even remember. This bike doesn't even overheat as people say, at least to me. Lastly, I'm just glad I can just put this out somewhere, so maybe some people can watch it. Some people might like it, might not like what I say, and I'm glad I can put this out there and look back at myself and look back at the things I did to this bike, to this beautiful bike. The tank remains stock. This is as perfect as it can get. I want to do it in any other shape or form to this tank. Rest of the things I will change slowly. And yeah, so these modifications do not just limit to the bike, the modifications are gonna come to my body as well. A nice riding boots, better gloves. I just had a few small crash on the off-road. So better gloves, better jacket, pants, boots, anything possible to keep me safe. So it's not limited to just the bike. I'll modify my riding gear as well, improve my riding gear as well. And yeah, this is my small experience with my bike. A lot of the things people complain on the internet about this bike is just rage bait or anything as such. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but it's just over exaggeration of things. They're not as bad as people think it is. The overheating can be subjective. People might not like the way it heats up. Uh, 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 uh. So yeah, it's very subjective, lot of things, but it's not as bad as you think it is. It's not as bad as people on the internet say it is. It's a lovely bike. You just have to be very careful because it has a lot of flaws. And yeah, definitely not beginner friendly unless you're like me and you are very cocky about getting a bike that's gonna last long, and you're very patient to learn with a big bike. Like so. God, that was such an awkward video. As a biker, should always have a goal to make it home safe. Like it's like, yeah, you started on point A, now you have to reach safely to point B. That's your everyday challenge. The moment you step on this bike, that's your challenge every day. Like there are so many other scenarios, right? So you just have to be mindful about it, that where you're doing it and how you're doing it. Oh, these clouds are amazing when it comes to ventilation. The wired are great tools. This is thanks to my one of my good friends who's lent me the money to buy it. I'll probably see you guys in the next one. Bye.